Crack up boom. Money's final meltdown. If you're ready to uncover the hidden chains dragging our future into the abyss, hit that like, smash the share, and lock in your subscribe or follow. Because truth like this demands an army of awakened minds. We're tackling this concept called the crack up boom. Something that sounds dramatic because, well, it is. It's all about how money systems can spiral out of control when governments keep pumping out more and more currency without end. We'll explore how Ludwig von Mises laid this out in his work, the key drivers behind it, what went down in Weimar Germany, how it ties into the Great Depression, and yeah, some eerie similarities popping up in our world right now. Stick around. This one's going to make you think twice about that cash in your wallet. First off, let's set the stage without giving away the full plot. Imagine a world where prices start creeping up, then they speed up, and suddenly everyone's scrambling because they know it's only getting worse. It's like a slow-building tension in an economy where trust in money starts to fray. Mises saw this as the ultimate breaking point in inflationary policies, where people wake up to the game and everything changes. We'll get into the mechanics soon, but think of it as the moment when the illusion shatters, leading to chaos that reshapes societies. If you've ever wondered why some currencies just vanish into history, this is your teaser. It's not just bad luck. It's baked into certain systems. Alright, now let's roll up our sleeves and unpack this thing step by step. The crack-up boom comes straight from Mises' big tome, Human Action, where he breaks down how economies function based on individual choices. In his view, money isn't just paper or digits. It's a tool for exchange that relies on people's confidence. When governments or banks keep expanding the money supply, printing more notes, extending credit beyond what's backed by real savings, it kicks off inflation. But it's not the everyday kind. It's when that expansion goes unchecked, and folks realize it's never stopping. In Weimar Germany after World War I, this played out like a nightmare. The government was buried under war reparations, and instead of cutting spending or raising taxes honestly, they cranked up the printing presses. By 1923, the mark was inflating so fast that prices doubled every few days. Workers got paid twice a day just to buy bread before it cost more. People carted wheelbarrows of cash to stores, and eventually, the mark became worthless, literally used as wallpaper or kindling. Mises pointed to this as a classic case. The public caught on that the increases were endless, so they ditched the money for anything tangible, goods, land, whatever held value. That flight accelerated the collapse until a new currency, the Rentenmark, had to step in, backed by real assets to restore trust. Shifting to the Great Depression, it's a bit of a flip side but still connected through Mises' lens. The 1920s in the US saw a credit boom fueled by easy money from the Federal Reserve. Banks extended loans way beyond deposits, creating artificial growth, stock market highs, real estate bubbles, you name it. But when the expansion halted in 1929, instead of pushing into full hyperinflation, it swung the other way. A deflationary bust. Businesses failed. Banks collapsed. Unemployment skyrocketed to 25%. Mises argued this was the inevitable correction after the phony boom. If they'd kept inflating forever, it might have hit a crack-up like Weimar, but stopping cold turkey triggered the depression. Either path, endless printing or sudden stop, leads to pain, but the depression showed the bust without the hyperinflationary fireworks. Diving deeper into the themes here, Mises emphasized a few core drivers that make the crack-up boom inevitable in fiat systems. First, expectations are everything. People hold money because they believe it'll buy stuff tomorrow. But if they see endless supply growth, they dump it fast, dropping demand and spiking prices even more. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Second, debt plays a huge role. High debts force governments to print to pay them off, creating a cycle where more money chases the same goods. Third, the illusion of prosperity during early inflation fools everyone. Prices rise unevenly, benefiting early recipients like governments or big borrowers, but eventually, it impoverishes the masses as savings erode. Analyzing this, we see how small inflations pave the road to big disasters. Even a steady 2% target, like what central banks aim for, doubles prices over decades, eating away at wealth. Mises warned that moderate inflation builds tolerance until it escalates. In fiat regimes without hard backing like gold, there's no natural break. The Cantillon effect kicks in too. New money hits elites first, widening inequality. And when confidence cracks, it's not gradual. It's a panic. Hyperinflation isn't just high prices. It's the death of money as a medium, forcing barter or foreign currencies. Looking at historical parallels, Weimar's triggers, war debts, reparations, occupation, mirrored broader interventionist policies that Mises critiqued. The Great Depression stemmed from similar credit excesses, but the US avoided total currency wipeout by eventually stabilizing, though at huge cost. Today, in 2026, we're seeing echoes that can't be ignored. National debts are over 100% of GDP in many places, deficits ballooning from pandemic spending and ongoing conflicts. Central banks have printed trillions since 2020, pushing inflation to double digits before it cooled a bit. Gold prices have surged past $3,000 an ounce, signaling flight to hard assets. Oil and commodities are volatile, reminiscent of post-gold standard shocks in the 1970s. If publics start doubting the dollar or euro stability, seeing endless bailouts and quantitative easing as the norm, we could tip toward that realization Mises described. It's not Weimar level yet, but with energy crises and supply chain woes, the pressure's building. Bitcoin and cryptos are even emerging as alternatives, like how people sought real goods back then. Let me pull out some key quotes from Mises himself to drive this home. In Human Action, he says, "If once public opinion is convinced that the increase in the quantity of money will continue and never come to an end, and that consequently the prices of all commodities and services will not cease to rise, everybody becomes eager to buy as much as possible and to restrict his cash holding to a minimum size. For under these circumstances, the regular costs incurred by holding cash are increased by the losses caused by the progressive fall in purchasing power." Another one, "But then finally the masses wake up. They become suddenly aware of the fact that inflation is a deliberate policy and will go on endlessly. A breakdown occurs. The crack-up boom appears. Everybody is anxious to swap his money against real goods, no matter whether he needs them or not, no matter how much money he has to pay for them. Within a very short time, within a few weeks or even days, the things which were used as money are no longer used as media of exchange. They become scrap paper. And on the endgame, the monetary system breaks down. All transactions in the money concern cease. A panic makes its purchasing power vanish altogether. These words capture the human element, the sudden shift from complacency to frenzy. Wrapping this up, if there's one takeaway, it's that sound money matters. Mises advocated for systems tied to real value, like gold, to prevent these fiascos. A golden standard or free market money could freeze the expansion, letting markets set rates without government meddling. It's a way out before the boom cracks up. If you're intrigued, dig into Human Action yourself. It's dense but rewarding. Keep questioning these economic roller coasters. Stay open-minded. Stay free.